The past 3 talks that I've done have been heavily reliant on audience participation, and none of them have gone well. So, I think just audience as a concept.
Well, what's that?
Oh, what's that?
Oh, what's that?
It's sound.
It's accounting. Let's play it.
I didn't change anything.
Hey, I'm Derek Smith, and this is my office. When was the last time you crunched the numbers? Well,
don't turn it
what's
down.
That? You got somebody else to do it for you? You get all your tax work and spreadsheets.
Hello, who are you? I am so glad to see you. You wouldn't believe how many people's throats I would have to cut out in one single day.
Fuck you! What are you doing here at my place? What are you doing at my place? Get the fuck out of here! You get the fuck out of here! What are you doing at my place? This is my tree world! Who are you? Who the fuck are you to be in this place? Who gives you the right to be in my place? How did you get here? This is my crazy tree world! Get out of here!
So, how many of you know what accounting is?
Felt so real to me.
Put those.
I always forget about
Put
that.
those secrets in.
Yeah. Accounting is a profession that people do for money, but it's about money at the same time.
Yeah, it's weird. So, taxes, some of you might pay them, some of you might not. It's kind of, I don't know, like I really don't do it that well. They keep sending me letters. And like for real, like whenever I pay my taxes, when they tell me, hey, you're overdue.
Oh no.
It's really bad and dangerous. So we made this game about it.
Yeah, it's mostly a personal game about our own experiences. It's about things that are under the plant. It's about getting out of my world. Then it's about what's the third room about? It's about murder. Oh
yeah.
no, it's about eating shit. The third room's about eating shit, though it's not pictured. Then the fourth room's about skeleton. Then the fifth room is about legal. Then the ninth room is about fire. And then the last room's the first room, but with like some really minor changes.
Did you mention the tree? The tree?
Yeah, that's 2. Get out of my world.
All right.
What are some of your favorite phrases from the game?
Hang on. This is spoiling everything.
Okay.
Don't move.
There we go.
Don't move.
Okay.
Okay.
What's your favorite phrase from the game? What's your favorite phrase from the game?
All right.
What's your favorite phrase from the game?
Hey, this is you entered virtual reality and now you're back in reality. I like that joke.
Yeah, that one.
I also like, fuck you, get out of my world, get out of my tree world. This is my tree world. Get out of here. Comedy is so easy.
Okay, so broadly, if you repeat things,
people might not hear things the first time.
Broadly, if you repeat things, eventually, broadly, if you repeat things, people will start to laugh.
Yes.
But if they don't, it just means you've broadly got to repeat things more.
I don't think the left flank has a good visual on me.
Okay, you can move. All right, so in the spirit of repeating things, can we play the trailer again?
Yes.
Nice. Play it again.
Hey, I'm Derek Smith, and this is my office. When was the last time you crunched...
There, right there.
There it is.
Right there. That one. That's a bug. And that the double cursor bug. And it fucking ruined our lives. Because the thing is, it swaps to a different image when you're hovering over an interactable item, so you know what you can touch. But here you see, it's got both. This
is a hand and a mouse cursor at the same
time. It doesn't
time.
make any sense. And to be honest, I think that's the biggest flaw with the game. I think that that the trailer has that broken master.
This is literally the only thing we did wrong?
Yeah, actually, I'd probably stand by that. That's the only thing that we did wrong with this game.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, Oh, but someone coming in as well. Like the tide of life flowing back and forth.
It's a circle. It's circular.
Wait, no. Wait.
The numbers. Well, what's that?
Oh. There
There it is again.
There it is again.
Repeating things.
Repeating things.
Again.
I wonder if it's anywhere else in the trailer. It would be good if we checked that before so we could do a nice comedy.
Yeah,
with
let's
threes
just
joke,
look
but
through the entire trailer shot by
You got
shot.
somebody else to do it for you? You get all your tax work and spreadsheets.
That's the headset.
Hello, who are you? I am so glad to see you.
We didn't want to show any of the
Wouldn't
characters
believe
because it
how
would spoil
many
it.
people's throats I would have to cut
And we
out
kept the
in
skeleton in the pocket.
Fuck you. What are you doing here at my place? What are you doing at my...
No,
That one's fine,
No,
I think.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Just
that's a real hand.
another few frames.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There it is.
There we go.
There it is again.
See.
A big mistake.
Does anybody have any questions about our process? Process.
Creative.
Process. Process.
Okay, fine.
So we had a slide for process, but now we're not going to talk about it.
That's a good question.
Good question. Get to the next one.
Is it not bad?
No, there's a process one. There we go.
Ah.
Us. So, broadly, our experience making games, we'd both done solo projects. Then we'd worked on like 2 kind of similarly sized games. But overall, I felt like making games generally had the broad process of a back and forth between narrative and design that bounced back and forth, and then eventually, like through a process of iteration and utilizing the different expertise of the people working in your team, you could kind of, from a base kind of rough idea, shovel out you could polish that down to something nice. But
Yep.
What was the first picture of Tree Guy like?
No, we can find it.
There we go.
Okay, so let's tell the story of how we ended up in that room on that day.
How did we end up making accounting with Justin Roiland, creator of Rick and Morty, and
also Lemon Grab and
and
Adventure Time.
2 Girls, 1 Cup, the Kids show. Don't
On
forget
CBS
that.
Kids, yes.
Yeah, on CBS Kids. No. Okay. So I watched Rick and Morty like about 50%. No, there's a lot of white guys. About 90% of the people in the audience I've seen Rick and Morty, and I liked it because it really spoke to me as a person who likes funny things. So I watched it. I watched some of the Rule 34, got real into the just whole broad erotic spectrum that show provides a platform for, and I saw him tweeting about stopping by the Respawn offices to check out Titanfall or something, and so I lied and I said that I worked at Respawn, and I said that he should follow me and I can get him in the door, and then he followed me, which is what I wanted to happen, but then he DM'd me and he was like, "Hey, where are you? Are you at the San Francisco offices or whatever?" And I was like, "No, I lied to you. I'm sorry, but I like your show." And then he realized then like in every situation where I'm in trouble and I've done a bad thing, I only then had to do I had to say the magic phrase, "I made the stunning barrel." And then he was like, "Oh yeah, let's work together." Person who lied to me in our single interaction, who, as far as I know, is completely untrustworthy. Yeah, sure, let's work together. And so then we flew out about half a year later after jamming out ideas. And so what was the first day like? Break down the first day.
We got into the room and felt like we should probably be super professional about everything. So the night before, we went to this karaoke bar and got home at like 4 a.m. I had to be there at 9. And
I had vodka.
You had vodka. I didn't have anything. I don't do drugs. And then we went into the Rick and Morty offices, got a room, had a VR setup there, and met Justin for the first time. And eventually it led to drawing out these concepts for characters, and as you said, having people and being really aware of the skills in the team is really important. So Justin
Dom can draw real good.
Yeah, so I can draw real good. William can
Lie,
and Justin can go, hey, ah! Or maybe, Morty. And that's his talent.
And so we brought that all together to form a basic room which had a VR headset in that when you put on, it teleported you to a different colored room. And then from that, we decided, what if it was a forest and there's a little guy in a tree saying, fuck you, get out of my world. And then you had to take his battery, and then you had to put his battery in the headset. And then you put that headset on, and you go a layer deeper, and then you meet the king of VR, and then you've got to take his knife, and
you
then
get a
you
phone
stab
call,
him.
and then there's skeletons.
Yeah, and then
you play on them.
you play on them.
Eventually get back to the
then
office.
You get the acid, and you've got
and
to drink
the forest,
the acid,
but it's on
and
fire.
then you've also
and the
got to be in a
skeletons say really
courtroom,
weird
and
things
the
like,
courtroom
hey
is like
dude,
you've got
come
to
on and
throw the
play
little
me.
public
And
defenders,
three guys are like,
either
hey,
the judge
you
or the
touched my
jury.
battery, you shouldn't do that.
Eventually, if you've got the whiteboard, you can spin it around.
You can
and
spin it around.
You can spin it around.
But in
a
the
few
first
times,
time in the
but
office, the headset kind of pops out of the thing, and
then it's under the plan.
Yeah, there's a secret picture of Snoop Dogg on the whiteboard.
It's under the
You should
plan.
look that up. Can we split the audio track to be left for him and right for me?
Maybe.
So you can.
That could be good.
We can do 2 talks at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do that? We could do that.
Can we do that?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
it's going on now.
What do you want to talk about?
I'm gonna do headsets.
Okay. What should I do? Should I do just like script outline? And
Yeah,
shit
how
like
we
that?
wrote it maybe.
Okay, yeah, so the central
One of these
idea
is a heart,
was
the
that
other one's
it
a log,
would
so
work
every
in a
headset is
layer-based
kind of
form.
connected
So
to the
what
room
you'd
it
have
exists in.
is
So in the
you'd
forest,
have,
you get the forest
you'd start
headset.
on
In
one
the
layer,
80s
and
office,
because we
you get
couldn't
the
do
80s office
locomotion
headset.
well in VR,
and then
we didn't
eventually
want to
just
do
in
a
the
funny
stomach
little,
thing
shoot where you
led
want
to
to
by the
stand and
heart.
walk around thing. That
And
didn't feel very
it's really
intuitive.
amazing
So we
because
felt we'd
you
have
kind
it
of just
in
slice
fixed
open the king and
spaces.
reach inside of him and
So
then
that,
rip out his heart.
So that.
And it's so
you'd
intense,
have it in
and there's
fixed
blood
spaces.
everywhere.
So the way
We
to
kind of use this
transport
lever
would be
mechanic
putting
for
on
it.
headsets and going
And
deeper. And then when you
it's
wanted to go
ridiculous.
up
Like you go in there and
you'd
they're like,
kill
"Hey,
yourself
dude, come
in
on and play
VR
me.
using
It'll
a
be so
various
cool."
variety
And then you
of
stop
methods.
playing on them, and they get
so
really
we
frustrated
started
with you.
with the core central idea that. Are we done?
I can't do this.
We start. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
Actually, I think that was a very good example of how we put the game together. Because
Yeah, so one of the first mock-ups we did was just a little phone that you could pick up, and we'd never made a VR game before this. We were not prepared.
Yeah,
And
a big reason for making this is that we just wanted to have the hardware for ourselves. Because
if you're making something and you lie enough about it and hype
Yeah.
it up, they give you all
People
the
will-
technology.
people will reward you. No one gave us money for it, but people gave us like really
Free
cool
stuff.
things for it. Yeah.
We got some good stuff. Okay.
But yeah, we made this phone mechanic, and it was kind of just like us recording temp dialogue, and it kind of led to just us sitting there and.
And like I was in the foreground, you in the background.
Yeah.
It was in the like, hey, I'm in the foreground.
Hey, I'm the background character. I'm slightly louder, but I'm on a distance,
Oh
so it's
boy!
fine.
Oh, this is a whole piece of
accounting.
dialogue. Oh, this could be an audio.
Hey, I don't know what to
tape
say
in some
anymore.
kind
I'm just
I don't
gonna
know what
swear
to
at
say.
you now.
Fuck
Hey,
you,
it's
fuck
yeah,
shit,
you gotta
balls.
get the
Okay,
thing.
so we tried
Basic
that out, and then
interactions.
Justin came down, played that, and he was like, "Oh man, this is so good." And then we decided we just had that be a reoccurring, Are there mirrors behind here? I think there's mirrors behind here. Oh, there's mirrors behind here.
2 talks at the same time.
Oh, fuck. So, does anybody have any questions?
Anyone has a question? Yeah. How do you two maintain 2 separate individuals? Because it seems like you're one now. So, just like on a creative, collaborative process, I'm curious.
How do we work creatively together?
I think I'm just. Hello. I think we just talk about things we like, and I think we share a lot of our tastes. So there's a big overlap, and I think if you know exactly what you like, you're already halfway to making something that's kind of as good as it. And with Will, it's that he's into the things I'm into. He's into some really weird shit that I'm not into, and I'm into some really weird shit that he's not into. But there's definitely in the Venn diagram, there's definitely an overlap.
Oh, this is on now.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, and then we just sit down and I draw things. I use Photoshop. I used an illegal version of it for.
Dude.
Oh shit.
Dude, they'll get
Am I
you.
not allowed
They
to?
will get you for that.
Oh shit. Okay. But then I totally subscribe to the.
I'm a big
the
subscriber to the
subscription
Creative
thing.
Cloud philosophy.
So yeah, it's a lot of just drawing out
pay them money,
concepts,
though.
sketching out ideas. We have so many game ideas, and we only get to make 1% of them.
What's the best game idea we've ever had but not made?
Probably Spleebly.
Yeah, Spleebly's pretty good. Ostraf 2 Sports.
Yeah, that one too. So it kind of works like an interactive fiction game, except it's only a sound file.
Yeah, so we recorded it in one take at a festival, and what you do is you put your headphones in, and then you just listen to the audio, and we tell you what to do. And then we say, like, okay, if you decide to do this, go to the 2-minute mark. And then we'd hastily write down 2 minutes as we were recording it. And then we'd wait for the timer to go to there. And then we'd give the instruction for there. And we'd branch it further. But that ends up, you're just like got a 50 notes about different time markers that you've got to hit to give the right instructions. And it's a pain. But we did it.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest game to make.
Yeah.
I dare anyone to do a one-take recording of an interactive fiction thing.
No pre-writing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's yeah, that's the point. We like to make games that are easy to make, and this one was pretty easy to make because you just put all the cool shit in it. There was literally no guideline for us. We just said, hey, it would be cool to have a forest. It would be cool to have a forest that's on fire, and you go back there. And hey, Inception is kind of a weird, fucked up movie, and we should totally rip up the whole system of going down in layers.
But we should make
going
it
back.
like even less clear than Inception.
Yeah, no, we shouldn't explain anything.
Could we like explain it, but only like halfway through and in a texture file? Okay, nice.
You know the spinning top at the end of Inception. Basically, that's the entire game, except there's a lot of screaming on top of it.
Yeah.
And that's accounting. It's we work a lot with just basic collision in it, so you can pick up things and the cursor gets broken. But then you can just put things on your face. You get deeper layer. It's very, very simple mechanically. But we thought it would be cool.
Mechanically, it's just super simple, and then we just said, okay, what can we achieve super quickly with super basic mechanics like Unity colliders, pick up, move it around, put it next to another thing, and like that. The benefit of that is we also don't need to teach the players much about like it's like okay, you put on a headset to go to another place, and then you just pick things up and you move stuff around.
Yeah. So most of the story came from the dialogue. So we just sat in this recording studio.
The majority of the game was built in a week while we were over in LA, living the high life.
So we were in that room, and Justin just said, "Hey, the thing you did with the phone, that's really funny. Let's do that properly." And then we were just in that room drinking whiskey, if I recall correctly, and shouting.
I'm sure there's other elements
and then
to that.
he got friends to do voices for us, and kind of the whole game kind of evolved around the sound files.
Yeah, it's like audio first is a super interesting process that we've been looking into more now, where if we've got an idea that's particularly about well, I think the benefit to working in like this kind of more improvisational way is you get these really vivid and harsh and intense experiences, but they don't necessarily always fit into a broader structure well. So like if anybody's played the game, like there's like really strong, weird individual moments, like Tree Guy, being like sensory overload with Tree Guy, or like learning to play the skeleton xylophone. But broadly, as a larger piece, just doing improvisational stuff, it doesn't necessarily tie it all into a kind of broader, more satisfying structure. But I think you don't need to do that in order to make a good game sometimes. And I think particularly the benefits of working in this way outweighed like oh man, how does VO, is it like layer based, or can you is it like Inception based or alternate realities, or how does it work?
Yeah, fuck all that. We just wanted to make a thing that puts you in interesting places and awkward situations. So there's a king talking to you, and he's super
Gotta stab
friendly,
him.
but you have
stab him.
You have to kill him.
Gotta stab him.
It's kind of these awkward situations, and yeah, just sensory overload. We played a lot with that. We thought, what's a thing that you probably shouldn't do in VR at all, and that is having 5 people scream at you at the same time. But it kind of worked out.
A surprising amount of people have used accounting as the first example of hey, my friend's never played VR before, what do you want to play? And for me that's kind of, I don't know, if I'd thought about the potential of that happening while we were making it, I would have definitely pushed for different design decisions, because it's definitely a harsh game. It's not an easy game to play. I think a lot of what I found frustrating about VR was that so many of the games were essentially treated as tech demos for the hardware, where it's oh look, we can do scale like this. Oh look, this is how looking around or locomotion works and stuff.
Well, you can climb in this one.
Yeah, it's very kind of, it starts from a place of, okay, what can we technically achieve in VR, and what are some of the methods that we can employ to I don't know, do something new in this medium that's not been done before. Whereas the starting point was very much the opposite, and it was what weird experiences can we put players in with this technology, and how do we just mess around with having characters scream at you, having being placed in different awkward social situations, and when a stranger comes up to you and just starts telling you all about their life. The weird feeling you get there, but in VR, so it's better.
Yeah, there's definitely a surface level thing where people go, hey, it's just like Rick and Morty, but in VR, it's so cool.
Hey.
And they really made that one now, which is kind of cool. We were faster, though. But that's just the surface, and I think we definitely put some interesting stuff in there as well. That's not just shouting and screaming and being terrible, and that's a cool thing. There's so many cool VR things that do interesting things. We wanted to be one of them. It felt kind of like being the first in doing some of the things we did, which felt cool. We had no idea what other VR games were or what they really were doing or how to make them. So we
played very little reference.
Yeah.
We played maybe a bit of Job Simulator and a bit of
figure out how the tech works,
the
even how do you move your hands, and that was it.
But past that point, we just kind of were okay, let's just fuck around in Unity and see what we can make. Is there any more questions from anybody? Yes.
Will your games continue to be free forever?
Pardon?
Will you continue making free games forever, or will you take money at some point?
No, we will not continue making free games
that's
forever.
clever.
Who would do that? That's such a silly question.
It wouldn't work out long term. Eventually, we'll be releasing some stuff you can give us money for at some point. Hopefully you will.
You could buy us coffee in the meantime.
Yeah, you can just give us money if you want, and we'll probably make a game out of it.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
One last question.
Yes. A very short one linking to the last question. Where did the decision to make the first game free actually come from?
Where did the decision to make accounting free come from, or Crow's games free? Accounting. The decision to make accounting free was a difficult one, and it's a complex one. Making any good game free, you risk you run into the issue of, are you undervaluing work created in this space? And that was something that was definitely that weighed heavily on our minds in terms of should we be charging for this experience? But then on the other hand, I feel the game's not particularly large. It wasn't a super high budget thing to make. So much of the art is a big amount of the background and so much was bought from the asset store, so we could just jam it out quickly and we could make it quickly, and we wanted the players to be surprised a lot. And I feel especially in VR, you have so few people who are able to experience what you're making, and so the idea of putting I think proportionally it was like, oh yeah, for half an hour of content, that's like what, $10 or $15 that you've got to charge for in the VR space, and it's like that's so. I don't know. I think it would have been hard to give no information about the game so that players could be genuinely surprised by it, and also charge money for it. I think it was the right decision to make. It did very well. You've always got the problem of, oh yeah, a free game's got loads of downloads. It did really well, but how do you know how many of those would have happened if it had charged money? And also, the game is a bit unpleasant if you've played it. It's aggressive. It is rude. It doesn't make itself easy for the player. It is a stressful experience. And I feel like, but it's like the highest rated VR game on the Steam store.
Let's say yes.
Yeah, let's say yes to that. So yeah, I think primarily it's like we know we can get money if we need it to make work, and if we were working on something accounting related, we'd obviously be contractually obliged not to say anything about it.
We could never say anything.
We could never say anywhere.
So
like, no, I'm just saying either way, we couldn't say anything.
Don't say anything.
So yeah, like it's
a whole big adventure.
It's a whole big adventure. Yeah.
Let me
it's
tell you
VR.
that.
Is that?
I think this slide is good to just
we
summarize the.
Oh, do you want to summarize it?
Yeah. So you have kind of the eyeball piece and comedy, and that's how we did it. We improv'd and we recorded that, and we had no idea what we were doing, and that was kind of the greatest thing about it. Just put together whatever feels right or really wrong and put that in the game.
Yeah, I think about twice the amount that ended up in the game got to script stage, and then we just cut it because we didn't have time to make it in the time we'd budgeted ourselves to make it. So, yeah, the moral of the story is.
Do less work.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Get out of my world. Fuck you. Buy the t-shirt. Buy the tree guy t-shirt. Fuck you. Oh.
Do you want to do a funny thing where we count down to 0 and then we say what the most important thing in VR is for us at the same time?
Oh, fuck. Okay.
All right. 3,
2, 1.
Screaming really loud. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.